Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Good day, everyone. I'm Japheth, and I am here with my siblings,
Peter!
Jackie!
And we are the Matterhorn Yodelers. And so what brings us together is a movie review of The Parent Trap.
Wait, I thought we were doing the black hole this episode. I'm joking.
I was like,
You watched the wrong movie.
So for those who don't know about The Parent Trap, it is a story of two identical twins played by one actress using split screen technique for filming. And so these twins are separated at the age of 1 by their divorced parents. The two of them are coincidentally reunited at a summer camp and soon discover they are twins. Shocker, identical twins recognizing themselves. The twins soon hatch up a plan to trap their parents to falling back in love. And so that is the premise of the movie. And got some...
But which one? Which movie are you talking about? Because there's two of them, right?
Oh, yes, we're going to talk about the original and then the remake. And we're going to discuss the differences and the things we liked and didn't like about the film. And we'll give you our ratings and recommendations for seeing the movie or not seeing the movie. Do we want to start off with interesting facts about the movie?
Cue the fun facts.
Cue the fun facts. Okay. So in the original one, 1961, in the dance party scene, where the layer cake falls off and breaks on the totem over Miss Inch's head, that was a recommendation from Walt Disney.
Oh.
He saw it and he goes, "We need more physical comedy," and it was in there, and it was a big hit back then.
It was a funny scene. I will admit that was a very funny moment.
Okay, so this was actually... So who do you know wrote the music, some of the songs in the original movie?
Sherman
Yeah, it was the Sherman Brothers.
It
right?
was their first full-length movie for Disney. Fun fact. Oh, okay. So there's the scene where the father, he is shocked about his ex-wife showing up, and he trips over the chair. In that scene, he actually cracks his rib and pushes forward in the scene. Like, what a trooper right there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I cracked my rib, and I didn't.
It looked like a nasty fall.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So that was some good physical.
Now, was the black guy real or not real?
Not for real. Let's see. The title song was performed by Tommy Sands and Annette
Funicello.
Funicello. Oh, good. I'm glad you said. I was like, Funicello.
House. It's a famous Musketeer. So
Yes, and so they
probably
were
the famous Musketeer.
She is the most. Yeah, I just couldn't
At
say
that
her
time.
name at the time.
Now
So they
it's
were
Britney
shooting.
Now
Spears.
and Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, yeah, they'd be like, "I know them." Like, "Oh, they were there." So they were filming Babes in Toyland, and then they were asked to come in and sing for the introduction. All right, and then Joanne Barnes, who plays Vicky, is the only actress that appears in both films. Can you remember in the second film? She's the love interest for the dad, Mitch.
In the original.
Yes.
Was she like the grandparents or
She
like?
is the mother of Meredith, the love interest of Dennis Quaid.
Okay. I mean, if I had to guess, that would have been a guess that they would have her play that role.
Yeah.
I totally didn't see it, and so when I watched it this morning or last night, I was like, "Oh, there she is! That's her for sure." It was a fun treat to read that. Now we're gonna move on to the remake's fun facts. This was Lindsay Lohan's first movie.
I read that. This was her, like, big start, really.
It was. And I think she did a really good
I
job.
thought she did a great job.
So we'll go more into that. So for who also auditioned for the role was Mara Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who she is?
Matilda.
Yes. Dang, Jackie,
I
that's
looked
good.
it up.
I was all like, I'm not good with actors.
I'm not
actresses'
either, but I did
names,
look
so.
this up because I was curious which film, like which number of film Lindsay Lohan.
I don't know.
was
Yeah,
in.
I don't think she would have been best for that role.
It would have been interesting.
She
It would've been
rejected
different.
it. She turned it down.
I thought they said that she wasn't going to be old enough for the role
Gotcha.
or appear old enough. So they actually, Scarlett Johansson went for the role.
Oh.
And then Michelle Trachtenberg, she was in the Ice Princess Disney
Yeah.
movie. And then, who's the other person? Tina Majorino? I don't know who she was, but...
Other person.
Other person that somebody else will know. Be like,
Not
how do you
famous.
not know them?
They were the extra in the sin. Yeah.
So the twins' names are actually named after... Because they changed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Went
changed
to
their
Annie
names.
and Hallie, and that's the name of the daughters of the producer. No, the director. Director and producer. So
Okay.
that's why they changed it. I was like, made it confusing when I'm like, who's this person? Another one. This was a Disney oddity where they show the mother drunk and smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I saw. I was like, oh, that's a little strange. You watch the older version, everyone's smoking.
Yes, everyone.
Yes,
Even the dad's got that pose where he's like smoking. He's doing the like, I'm John Wayne, tough guy.
Well,
like,
and in the newer one, they changed one of the lines to not say tobacco, like the
you
original
smell
one.
like peppermint
And pipe.
pipe. Yes, that's a good catch.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Jackie was ready for the quiz.
She was ready for a quiz.
I took notes.
I did not.
The reaction for Dennis Quaid's character is just like the one in the movie. I don't like that fact. I'm gonna skip over that fact. Forget that fact. That's garbage.
What the
They acted the same.
They acted the same, and I was like, what was I thinking when I copy and pasted that for my IMDb? So for Dennis Quaid's part, they wanted Bill Murray or Harrison Ford, Jeff Daniels, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, or Robin Williams.
Wow, they wanted some big names.
They did,
Yeah.
and they got stuck with Dennis Quaid.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, he
I-
was great for it.
He was, and so I started thinking, I was like, how would Robin Williams be?
As the
He's
dad.
too. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the best person out there would have been Jeff Daniels or Tim Allen.
I could see Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
He would work. Tim Allen.
I don't see Tim Allen.
I don't know if that would.
Because it's not
work.
like a huge comedy, like.
It's not a
role.
comedy part.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the role that the dad plays is not a big comedy part.
He's the romantic, like
Yes.
plays the authority, the parent authority,
Mhm.
and that. All right, so I did the fun facts. So let's go on to our feelings about the movie.
Which one you want to start with?
We'll say, what is your initial feeling when I told you we were going to watch The Parent Trap?
I don't think I've ever really. I might have watched the old Parent Trap a long time ago, but I didn't remember it. So it was basically a new movie, so I didn't know what to expect as far as the old one. But growing up, the remade one, I loved as a
Yeah,
child.
I remember
like,
you watching that one a lot.
I watched it a lot. It was like came out basically, I would say, for my generation.
Yes, I would agree. No, it was I thought it was an interesting pick for sure. It was funny when you're throwing around the other ideas of other movies. It's like, let's do Freaky Friday. I'm like, okay, so we're just doing Lindsay Lohan movies. We're gonna do Herbie next, and
I just watched her. That was a fun one.
But no, I mean, I hadn't seen the original probably since I was like in elementary school, so I was kind of excited to go back and watch that one again. I had recently watched, because my wife loves the Lindsay Lohan version of The Parent Trap, and so we recently watched that one not too long ago. So I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fun to draw that comparison, and I'm glad I did, because there's definitely a lot of insight that I saw comparing the two together. So yeah, no, I thought it was going to be fun, and I think I'm glad we're doing this one. You know, there's no like, okay, this is going to be like a boring thing.
Gus, the donkey kicking, or the field goal kicking.
That was funny. I watched that. That was good. That was good. I enjoyed Gus, the field goal kicking donkey.
I enjoyed it when I was 15. I have not watched it since. But so we're talking about The Parent Trap. I was just curious because I had seen both movies within the last 3 months. It's hard to tell in this time period. So I'd seen them, and I was kind of curious what your guys' take on that. And it's kind of like a compare and contrast kind of review. So that's more of like, I was my idea, so I like, I was shocked at my own idea. Okay, so we're gonna go with, what do you guys like about the original 1961 film?
I felt it was far more realistic and more down to earth, because
we're not
it seemed
incredibly wealthy people.
correct. Like yeah, the dad was like a rancher. I'm assuming at least that's the assumption.
Yes.
That he owns cattle and things like that.
Did you catch the name on the truck?
No.
It's the Golden Oak Ranch. Disney owns property.
That's right.
Called the Golden Oak.
That's right. Man, you're trying to like. That's a good catch. That's cool.
So sorry, interrupted. More down to earth.
Yeah, it was more down to earth, far more realistic. Like, there's like different scenes in comparison that, like, I mean, in all reality, they're literally the same movie, except I think the original one, gives you more substance than the remake does. I'm getting these looks.
That.
You guys are giving me these looks like, no,
I don't know about that.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. We're just doing likes. What are aspects of the movie that you like? There's scenes that the 61 did better than the 98 version, the remake.
I like the fact that to me, it was far more believable. The whole camp, the whole how the girls' camp looked. That looked like what camping is like. Whereas, like, I mean, I won't go into too many of the negatives for the remake, but like the girls' camp in the Lindsay Lohan version definitely seemed far more like upscale, where they have fencing as an activity, and whereas this one seemed like, yeah, we're just camping. And
yeah, but the thing is, like, those camps actually do exist, where there's like fancy camps, and like you look at the parents,
and
like the mom is a fashion designer and the dad is a what, so they've got money for those fancy camps.
Correct. And the point I'm trying to make is, it's far more down to earth for the common people. It's far more relatable than these uber wealthy families sending their kids to rich girl camp across in a different country.
Yeah,
like one of them went from London to America to go to a girls camp.
Yeah,
so like I think there was far more relatability. Maybe is probably a better word.
Okay.
For it, than believability, but relatability, I think, I preferred the original over. Also, and I enjoy the fact, because it is an older film, there's definitely different. What's the word I'm looking for? There's definitely different standards. And performances that are different, and And
it
so,
evolves. Like the style
Yeah.
of acting
correct.
evolves over time.
The
So I can
style of
definitely
act-
see how it's smoother
Yes.
in the newer version
Yes.
than it is in the older version.
But I kind of like the charm of those older films and how they're acted out. Like I felt myself enjoying myself, laughing a lot more with the original one than I did with the remake because of those differences of society and acting and things like that. So like it was just kind of fun to see that the differences there. So I mean that's something I would appreciate. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Jackie, what did you like about this film?
So there's definitely like there's a lot more in this film. There's a lot more random scenes. You remember like the one scene with the skunk as they're leaving, and she's like upset that she can't.
I need the skunk!
Yeah,
Why, Daddy, why?
and you're just like, what was the purpose? But it did make me laugh.
You're right. It's a comedy.
And you get the
know?
random kid like, Mom, you gotta get me on a Girl Scout!
Oh yes. I enjoyed the like prank scene among the girls.
The one at the dance?
The one at the dance.
That was cruel.
I thought that was fun.
Was it justified?
Justified. I'm not gonna get into that. But you know, because I think I don't know. I thought that was, and the dance was fun too to see like all the girls in like the nice pretty dresses at this girls' camp. And
They were
then-
so excited. They're like, "We're going to a dance." Girls are like, "Oh, I don't think kids would be excited to go to a dance."
I don't know. Back in the 60s, I would say
They loved
so.
it. That's why I said they loved it.
In
but
that day and
but
period.
now you
Now.
couldn't
No,
do that. They'd be
now
like,
you
"Oh
couldn't."
no."
Everyone's socially awkward.
They're gonna put me on. I'm gonna start dancing, and they're gonna put me on social media, and I'm gonna be shamed.
Can I just do a TikTok dance?
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else did I enjoy? The little talk back between like the girls and the new fiance. Vicky, yeah, I enjoyed that little cat fight a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
The
Like,
little,
your father underestimates you.
Yeah. You're like, don't join the big girls. Like, don't.
I think, and I also think Vicky is a far more likable villain.
I thought so too.
She was. I
I
thought
sympathize for her a little bit.
Vicky was it. I put this in my notes. I felt like Vicky really wasn't like portrayed evil. Like honestly, what
Correct.
Vicky was doing, I didn't see what was wrong. Like she wasn't threatening to send them to boarding school or anything.
No, she did.
She did.
She
Oh,
did.
she did?
Yep.
Oh, I missed that
She did
part.
it. Oh, she didn't threaten them. She told her
Her mom.
mother, like, "Oh, I'm gonna send them off to a Swiss boarding school."
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. Okay. But I felt like Vicky wasn't as evil as the other woman in the newer.
I agree. I actually like the Vicky. I like Vicky over Meredith, in that way where she was likable. And you're like, she kind of had a bad rep. She falls in love with this guy. She's gonna make it rich, and then
Yeah.
her-
Are her motivations more so like about social
Mobility,
standing
yeah.
and yeah,
Yes.
it is. Like that's obvious, but like it's not so much like as
she
the other
meets this
one.
girl, and you know, was it Sharon or Susan or Susie? I can't remember. She's mean.
Yeah.
You know, like she's mean because she has her agenda, and
Yes.
you want the twins to be together, and so she's just a victim, a bystander of it. So I get that.
And she didn't do the whole it's either them or it's me scene.
The ultimatum
Oh, the
always
ultimatum.
ruins a relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Me or them.
I'm glad they didn't do that
Yes.
in the original.
She just went ballistic.
She just lost it. She's like, I'm gone. This is not worth it.
Your kids are crazy.
She just like kicks the coffee can. You're like, oh. burns the man.
Oh, she broke the fishing pole? I was like, it's a good fishing pole.
What I liked about the movie was just going back to the throwback to mid-century America. Looking back in that time period, we weren't alive, and like our parents didn't really exist, and so we don't really know too much about that time period. Or seeing it, so it's kind of just fun to watch it and see like this is the post World War II America. Like people are like, it's the height of America, everything's great, you know, for some, and then. So I really like seeing that time period and seeing how the teenagers like react. I really liked the scene for the grandpa try to coerce the mother into getting new clothes.
Oh, that was hilarious.
He's like, "You're
Yes!
so brave to like go out there and just embrace who you are." You know,
As you get older,
Yes.
and
I was just
those
laughing.
shows would be fine. And, like,
Oh, it's okay. And when I saw the new version, I was like, "Oh, I missed that part."
yeah.
you felt like bad for the grandpa in the older version.
But you
because the grandma was...
she's a wench.
she was
Kindly
the
put,
villain.
yes. Why don't you go into your room and read the newspaper? I will.
There's a reason why they probably got rid of her in the remake, is because I think she took over the scene
When she didn't need to.
when she didn't need to.
It wasn't a needed role.
I did feel bad for the grandmother when one of the twins like comes out and she's like, "I'm done. I'm not going." She's riding horses and swimming, and I'm going to cultural events. Like she's just mad, and she's like yelling at her grandmother, who's like, "What's going on?" Like, so I felt bad for the grandmother at that point. But yeah, she's not a very nice grandmother. But and then I really like the priest. They didn't have the priest.
Oh, the priest was so
the
funny.
He was
priest
so
was
funny.
great.
Oh, do you mind? No, this is great. I've never seen this much entertainment.
Oh,
Like,
he's like, "Oh, do you want a drink?" And he's like, brought him in close. Bourbon, make it a double on the rocks. Great.
I loved it. And when I watched the second one or the revise or the what is it
The remake.
the remake? Thank you, brain fart. I was like, oh, I love that character.
There's a lot of roles that were missing, but
I think it was necessary because they didn't have that storyline and that chaos inside the house
yes.
to have that kind of a fair like look, and so it was necessary to cut it out. But that's what makes it special is for that one. And I love the music and the new one.
In
The songs.
Are you saying in the new one?
No,
or
in the old one, yeah,
Oh.
the Sherman Brothers.
I disagree.
Absolutely. Oh, I love the music. I was all like,
Let's
oh,
get together, yeah,
know,
yeah.
that
So
one,
that
the
was
theme
a good song,
the theme
right?
Yeah.
song for the Parent Trap, like, and I love the fact that like they had it throughout the whole
Mhm.
movie. You can hear the theme of those songs throughout the whole movie.
I just didn't feel a lot of like.
You just like the
emotions.
generic music that's in all the other love.
But the
music.
thing is, they placed it so well. Like, I mean, we're not in the new one, but the newer movie, like the whole intro scene, it's like the love song, right?
Yeah, is for the
And yes, it's a cliche right now, but back then, like, as a girl, like, that was so romantic song. And it just, like, I thought it set up the movie a lot better than in the original.
I agree with you that I transitioned better into the the remake as opposed to the original.
I thought they told the parents' story a lot better in the remake at the beginning
I
of the
agree.
movie.
I agree with you on that. Okay, now we need to move on to the remakes likes. Pick two things that you liked about it, and we'll start with you, Jackie.
I'm a big fan of the music selection and the classic handshake.
The 18-move handshake.
Yes.
Fun fact right there. I didn't count it. I read it. 1, 2, 3. No.
I mean, as a kid, I was like, I want a friend to do that with. So, loved it.
Yeah, so, like, for me, like, I liked the acting of
Lindsay.
Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, she did a great job.
She did a fantastic job. Better job than...
Haley Mills.
Oh,
Haley Mills.
yes.
The whole British accent really...
Threw it off.
Throws everything off. When you realize they're like, I'm from Boston, and with a British accent.
Yeah, there was no Boston.
I was wondering where it's like, park the car!
Yeah, so like, yeah, that part is just like, it took me out of it a little bit. So, and the fact that like, in the Lindsay Lohan version, they actually address the accent issue and like you've got to learn how to say the words properly instead of in the other one it's like yeah they just did grammar and it's like okay. So I mean I think she did a fantastic job.
And the language is what got her in trouble when
Yes.
she said woozy and the grandpa's like, what? Okay, things I liked. I thought Meredith was a better villain
Yes.
for this, or the future evil stepmother. I thought she sucked me in going, I can't wait to see her, like, go down.
I would only disagree with it in the sense that, like, I felt like she was just too over-the-top villain. That, like, she wasn't believable enough for me to believe that he would want to be with her. Except the fact that, like, she was...
But she was put well together, isn't that what was said? Or is
well
that the first,
together,
the original?
Yeah.
So, like...
She was a pretty girl.
She was just a... Like, and it just makes the dad character look super shallow in the sense that, like, you're pretty much only hanging out with her because she's beautiful. Because, like, even, like, when she's just acting with him, you can tell, like, she's not a good person. And so...
What, when she brings out the bell?
The bell! Oh, gosh.
So, like...
Ring.
So, I just felt like her role was just way too over the top. I agree that she plays a villain very well. I just think it was too over the top that I couldn't believe that he would be with her.
Okay. Alright. Things I did like. I'll do rapid fire real quick. I like the butler and the nanny in this.
Yes.
Oh,
Great.
yes.
They
Their
broke up the
chemistry.
scenes.
That was great.
Oh yeah, they fall in love. Of
Yeah.
course. I liked how Allie was from London and not Boston.
Yes.
I like how they rekindle the relationship better in this film.
I agree.
You could believe
They
where
did.
it's like, oh, this was a lost opportunity, as opposed to like a violent one where they have stew and then they're like, you know what? Maybe we can make this work. Even though I punched you in the face and I've done like, you can tell like they
Love
really
is a strange thing, you know?
It is a strange thing, but like it was just, you could tell like they really fought in that relationship in the original 1961 one. Like they portrayed like, hey, we had friction. This one was like, maybe we just had one bad fight, or like it just wasn't our time. We weren't ready together. And then when they rekindle the love and he goes out and he
fights for her.
And he flies on the Concorde. I was
Every girl wants a man to fight for her.
oh yeah, just, they like, it's not going to work out. And then he meets him there. It's like, I thought they did a better job.
You like the resolution
as opposed
better.
to like, I have a dream and we're walking down the aisle.
Yes.
That was kind of weird.
I know. And they
was
just
like,
left
that's
it
it?
at that. And they're like, wait, is the dream real or not?
I will say this, though. I did not like the whole, we beat you to London.
On the Concorde.
Yeah, I thought that was just kind of all like, okay, like, they had hours over you. And
They said they
like,
only had 15 minutes. They realized they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So they were only slightly behind by 15 minutes. Have you not seen American or The Amazing Race on television?
I guess you have a point there.
It's true. They
but
could have got
literally-
stuck in traffic.
They could have gotten stuck in
behind
it,
an
but it's like
elephant
literally
and-
like they would have had to like run in the house, explain everything to Grandpa, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna sit in Grandpa's chair, and then they would have come in, and Lizzie Lohan would have turned around and be like,
But you don't know if they stopped to like get food, have a coffee.
Mother's smoking and drinking on those long flights. You never know what's gonna happen.
This is true. And I wanted to bring up like how they changed it from like Boston to London, and I wonder if because the original actor was British and they wanted to do a kind of a throwback with having it from London.
The original's from London?
No. Well, the actress.
The
actress. Oh yeah. Maybe it's just easier.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe it's easier to romanticize London and visualize it as opposed to.
I think it's a little bit more realistic in the sense of like how they're separated. If they're in different countries, it's definitely less likely that they'll
meet up.
They'll meet up. Whereas Boston, you're still within the same country. Yeah, you're on the opposite ends. But if you're both in high levels of society, you're more likely to know similar people.
I can see that. All right, so I'm going to move on, and we're going to go one thing that bothered you the most out of whatever movie you pick. Like, which one was like, I wish they got rid of that? Or something that just bothered you about the whole overall story between the two of them. I'll start where it is ridiculous for parents to split up their children for their self. It's like, hey, this relationship didn't work out, so I'm going to tear you away from one of your children, and I'm going to tear you, and just like, and we'll be totally cool with this. Like, they'll never know that they have a significant, or have a sibling, an identical twin out in the world. That no, this is sister television, but it's like, I just don't.
Well, and the family kept it a secret for like, what, 14 years? 13?
11 years for one, 14 in the other.
Yeah, it's just like, that's pretty extreme.
Definitely.
That's why it's like, wow, it's kind of jacked up. Like, the parents are, I think it's very selfish of them to do it. Like, we're not going to make it, so we're going to split up these two kids. It's like, I understand you're not together, but like,
you're separating siblings.
Yeah. It's like picking teams. Oh, I want that one. That one cries less than the other.
And then when they get caught, they're like, well, we can't keep them separated anymore.
It's like, they both did that.
Oh, it worked out so well for us to this point. It's like, what? That's what really bothered me about the whole story. Is like, that's just heartless. It's like, I'm going to take this one child that you nursed and like gave birth to, and it's mine. My precious. It's like, no. I was like, that's hard for me to digest in both stories. So that was my problem with either movie. Was the storyline in that. What's yours, Peter? One thing you could just delete a scene, or just like, oh, get rid of that, or.
I mean, probably the thing that, like, honestly, like, I brought it up before. It's the villain in the new one. Okay. Like, I just thought she was just way over the top. It took me out of the movie and made me look at the dad less kindly. Made me look at him like, okay, he's a pig. You know, he just wants to be with the hot new thing.
Well, look at Dennis Quaid now. I mean, here's a fun fact for you. I had to look this up because he just got married. His current wife is 5 years younger than Lindsay Lohan at the time. Lindsay Lohan's character in this movie. Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it just. They tried to make it so, like, they want you to fall in love with the mom, they want you to fall in love with the dad, and I just couldn't connect with the dad because how could someone that you're trying to build up to be this great guy be with such a wench?
That's true. I mean, and it's the lust, like, relationship. You meet within 8 weeks, and you fall in love, and we're getting engaged, and we're getting married with it. That's like, that's
quick.
Very unorthodox in
modern times.
In modern times.
In the original, a little bit more believable.
Yeah.
Because that happened a lot. That was a lot more common back then, to meet someone and then within a month.
You're the one. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no. I agree on that. All right, Jackie.
Get rid of the grandmother in the old one.
Get rid of her.
Yeah, she's not needed at all.
Sure, she
She really did not add to it, other than she bullied her husband.
she had. Oh, Wait till your grandmother hears about what you've done to your hair.
Oh, yes.
She controls the house with a iron fist. Boy, she must have the purse strings and that, like, it's her, like, her trust fund. She dictates everything and that. So, yeah, I agree. She was a character that can go away. Okay, so now is the finale. We are going to give it a rating for each one. And so the rating are based on Mickey bars out of 5. And then if it's a half, you can do like churros or whatever favorite Disney food you want. But Mickey bars is the solid, like 2 Mickey bars out of 5 or 3. Or if it's a 5, like, hey, I watch this every day. So, Jackie, we'll start with you. We'll start with the 1961. What do you give it a rating?
I give it like 2 and a partially melted Mickey bar.
Dropped on the floor.
Mickey bar. Yeah, I just didn't connect with it as much as the newer one.
Okay,
And
so what's the newer one?
the newer one, I would give it a 4.
4. Whoa.
That's
So
drastic.
you're willing to, like, watch this again?
Yes. Again, at the beginning, I watched this
So it's more of nostalgic.
Yes, but also when I rewatched it recently, I had that instant, like, pure happiness inside of
Nostalgia.
me.
Nostalgia.
Of the excitement.
I know. I love nostalgia.
But, like, I just enjoyed the movie.
That's good. Okay. All right, Peter.
So for me, at the end of the day, they're the same exact movie. The plot is the same. Most of the scenes were exactly the same. So I'm not gonna be like, this movie is a 1 and this one's a 4. I can't do that. They're literally the same. So I'm going to give one a 0.5 over the other one because I liked. So I would give the new one a 3 and the original one 3.5. I liked the original one better. I was far more entertained with it. I was laughing throughout the whole movie. There's flaws, but that's sometimes what makes a movie great, are some of those flaws. Like, you laugh at the mannerisms that people have, or the silly accents. Like, I couldn't tell you that I was laughing throughout all of Lindsay Lohan's. Was it yeah, it's the same exact movie. I just felt like some of the jokes paid off better in the original compared to the Lindsay Lohan, like the whole camping scene. Like, they were they told the same jokes where she was tapping the sticks, but they didn't show that happened in the Lindsay Lohan one.
I had an issue with that too.
Yeah, they probably cut the scene.
So they cut the scene, and so I felt like you got a little bit, just a little bit more. Even and again, they're literally the same exact movie with slight differences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna give the edge to the original.
All right. I'm very similar, but I flip it.
Okay.
So I give the original one 2 Mickey bars and a half-eaten churro. It's sweet, but it just doesn't quite get to that third Mickey bar for me because there's just the conversation with the father and the daughter. There's some scenes in there where I'm just like, I was just getting a little antsy. I did find myself laughing probably more at some of the dialogue and the mannerism, like you said. But I'm giving the new one 3 Mickey bars, smoother story.
Sure.
I thought they smoothed out some of the rough spots
They did.
in it, and I think they did a good job on that, and that's why I give it a 3. I'll watch the new one again. So for me, for 4, I'd have to be like, oh, I'm going to go out of my way to watch this again.
Yes.
Third one's like, if
It was-
it's on and my kid's watching it, yeah, I'll sit down and watch it.
Yes.
But the original one, it was good for its time, and maybe in 20 years, I'll watch it again and going, wow, look at this. That's interesting. But that's about it for me.
Okay.
So that's that's all I have to. Those are my ratings, and I think we had similar views, but it's interesting. We have some differences in how we view movies, and this was kind of fun to see that. And so I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the audience and my fellow yodelers for joining us on this review of The Parent Trap. And so please leave comments.
Let us know. Let us know what you guys thought.
What do you like? Or be like, I can't believe you like that scene. That's ridiculous. Yeah, please let us know in the comments or in social media your thoughts of The Parent Trap.
And tell us which ones which yodeler you hate the most now.
Whoa.
Just joking. Don't spread hate.
Rate them with melted Mickey bars.
Yes.
That's right. Melted Mickey bars.
All right. Thanks again for listening. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.